could just up on my steez and looking down on my truck, cause the work that it's needing. Well, they go real hard, but
all right, everyone, welcome back to the QuiverCast. Today we have a Californian surfer, and there's a reason why I'm saying that, but also a musician, and he's a surf instructor. We have Chase LaRue. Is that the proper way? Is that French name?
Yes, it's a French name. I believe the name is more French than I actually am. So I've heard French people say it, and they're more like LaRue, or like it's got a little more like flair to it. But LaRue, Chase LaRue.
Okay.
Yeah.
American.
Yeah, American.
LaRue.
Yep, American.
All right. Are you American?
Yeah, pretty much through and through. Californian, straight up.
Okay. So, that's where I want to start. I went pretty deep on your Instagram. Like, you were pretty active back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
In early 2014, 15, 16 kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
First off, where are you from?
I was born in Redondo Beach.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, and that's the origin zone. And then basically the family was living around the South Bay there, like in like Torrance and San Pedro and Palos Verdes, and we just kind of hopped around. I stayed central to like the Palos Verdes schools. I was kind of like in the Palos Verdes network, and that's where my dad grew up and stuff. But yeah, I kind of hail Redondo. It comes like a little easier on the ear for lots of people.
Now, what's the difference between Redondo Beach and Torrance Beach? They're the same, right?
Well, you could literally just walk from Redondo Beach to Torrance Beach in about 2 minutes, really.
Okay.
But Torrance Beach, the classic break there is Burnout, which is basically a glorified shore pound closeout barrel, and that's kind of where I cut my teeth on steep drops and just getting pounded.
Yep.
When I was a small kid, that was like it scaled to feeling like we were like surfing Pipeline or something.
Okay. So I've seen pictures and I've seen my friends surfing, and I mean, it's a very heavy wave when it has its day.
Yes.
I don't know how often it has its day. It's not very often, I don't think. But
not often enough. If you're living around there, you're definitely seeking greener pastures for waves, and especially in the summer. I mean, it's just shut down in the summer. Yeah.
But when it has its day, it is as good as any beach break there is.
It's sick, yeah.
It's scary.
It's scary. It photographs better than it actually surfs, because like you can get a still frame that looks like you're just like at Puerto Escondido, but really you just get detonated like half a millisecond after the frame, So, but yeah, it works. It works. I loved it. It's fun.
What about like Haggerty's and some of these other places right around the bend, or literally actually right down the beach?
Yeah, basically almost the same beach. Yeah, Hags. I would surf out at Hag. Always just getting. I was a young kid, so just always getting rousted by the older dudes with like Coors cans in their hands and stuff. I would mess around a lot at the Cove too. The Cove is really beautiful break, and it's just kind of like a holistic surfing experience going down there, hiking down and longboarding, mellow vibes, old timers down there.
So you're cutting your teeth mainly at the beach break when it breaks. You say you have your roots also in Palos Verdes. Would you be, or are you accepted into Lanada Bay? Were you one of the boys, or was any family member?
So my dad was definitely in the clique in the late 70s and like through the 80s and stuff. We never really subscribed to like any gang-like activity. And while I do know a lot of the folks, I'm definitely not like one of your tried and true Bay Boys, as we would call them. I think I know enough people that on the solid days I could probably cruise through there and get away with it.
Okay, so we're kind of cutting ahead, but I have to since we're here now. You surf Mavericks. You surf Mavericks very well. You surf it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know those guys. Have you been compelled, or why haven't you been compelled to make that trip down to where you grew up and give Lanada a solid shot? Or have you?
Well,
that's the question.
Well, I don't know. It's just it's a narrow swell window, and actually a rare swell that will make it do its like actual big wave thing. So living down there, being posted up down there, it was kind of a slow surf life, even through the winter months. So I was always wanting to like find something that was like a little more consistent for day-to-day surfing. And
Of course, yes.
yeah, and it really, like, Mavs is just like on those same swells, like the Mavs is at just such a different scale.
I see that. I hear you. But I'm also wondering, like, just for that novelty one day, are you going to do it one day?
Yeah, I will, for sure.
All right, send me some pictures.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe not, though. Maybe no photos. No photos that day.
Okay, fair enough. You can get some photos. You don't have to share them on Facebook.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah, there you go.
You can just send them to me. All right. What do you think about the Bay Boys and the whole lawsuit and all that? Do you know much about it?
I'm not well versed in what the latest dramas were with the whole thing, so I don't really have any tight details. I mean, I know some people that are in play there, and I just really just do not subscribe or identify with any of the localization of the zone, really, like at all.
Right.
Yeah.
We had to ask.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Your young days, you're trying Torrance Beach. What about Redondo Breakwater and some of these other big wave spots?
Well, you know, some of those, they were just like, even if you're from the zone, they were just some grumpy older dudes that just like you would, as like a young buck in the South Bay, you get kind of like, you know, you get kind of pushed around a little bit at certain spots. So I just stayed in my lane, really.
Do you miss that about surfing? Should surfing stay that way? Should there be a separation?
Dude, I think there really is something to it. And I tell people all the time, because I teach like beginners all the time, and I'll give them a little hint at the culture, and they'll be like, wow, that's like insane. Like, they'll tell you can't be there. Like, isn't the ocean for everyone? Like, isn't it just supposed to be a fair game? And I'm like, yeah, that's like a good spirit and all, but really when it comes down to it, like, you have to know a wave, you have to know how to safely operate. There's just levels to the game, you know? So right. I think it's actually important in the culture to have some sort of something like that. It gets kind of brutal in some places, and for some days, they're like, I don't know. I think just unwarranted, just like autopilot regulation of a spot and just like regulating on someone that's actually not causing any real issues is kind of just downright rude. And whenever operating in the water, I just try to make people feel like they have a place on this earth, you know. It just feels so demoralizing when you just get shut down by a local. Even at a break that you surf all the time, you're still going to come up with some like grumpy dude that just doesn't want to see your face, no matter how long you've surfed there, really.
Right. To that I say, well, unless there's this big, huge size difference, I think in the 70s, they went to blows and they shook hands after and they went back out and surfed.
Yeah, it was realistic. Now, it goes to blows, and then your clips get put onto Instagram, and then you get sued, and then
yeah, it's a different world.
It's a different world. Yeah.
Also, though, I think the kids have lost respect for the elders because of that.
Some elder, just super core lord loc paddles out. Man, I am not paddling around them. I'm actually trying to facilitate their takeoffs, making room for them. I'll even be like kind of a liaison communicator to people that are paddling kind of erratically out there and not showing awareness. I'll be like, hey, look, like, dude, that dude, he's going to take the wave. It doesn't matter if you're looking at it or paddling hard for it, or if you paddle around him, he's going to take the wave. So you might as well give him some space, man. Like, you know, I'll try to, in a friendly way, inform people, but people don't always take to that. But yeah, respect the elders out there. They need to get their waves, and they appreciate them.
Yeah. So growing up in this South Bay, how important was surfing to you?
Well, it's definitely like truly a huge part of my identity, because like my parents, or my dad and my grandparents, they started surfing back in like the late 50s down at San Onofre. That's like where our like family surfing roots are. And then when I was a kid, that's where I would get pushed into waves, and I would see photos of me as like a little tiny one. So all through my early years, I would just kind of identify as a surfer, even though I didn't surf all the time. And then by the time I was 10, I was starting to get obsessed, wanting my own board, wanting to get out on my own. So all through the youth, I was like definitely identifying as a surfer. But other things piqued my interest. I played other sports. I played ice hockey, and that took a lot of time and everything. Always went all in on these things. And then I started playing guitar when I was like 10 as well. So I got my first kind of like my own like good surfboard of my own and a guitar basically around 10 years old. And I would kind of hopscotch between the two and get obsessed for like months at a time with one or the other. Music, surfing, that was my identity.
They can work together though.
Yeah.
Very easily. There's a lot of windy days. There's nighttime. There's afternoon. There's more, you got to break, pick up the guitar. So it made sense.
Yeah. And I've figured out in my adult life how to like kind of balance the music and surf obsessions pretty well. It's been getting better and better. Yeah.
All right.
Stoked.
Tell us a little history on your grandparents. That's shocking. And your dad surfing.
Well, yeah, totally. The grandparents, I mean, I've even seen awesome
That's
photos
rad.
of, I've seen photos of my grandma surfing and stuff, right? So,
That's so cool.
which is kind of cool. But yeah, my grandpa, he came out from New York for like a job, and he kind of sussed out the San Onofre scene, and he was like, oh gosh, he was like kind of just like, whoa, dude, like we're out here, so we're gonna move out here. They moved out west, and they just took up like basically like weekend Sano trips was their just autopilot weekend vibes. And my dad grew up surfing all those years and everything. The thing that truly inspired me from my dad's surfing was he was a really solid surfer through like his high school years, solid swimmer and everything. And he went over to the North Shore in the early 70s, like around like 74 or something. He even had some old boards from that era and up in the rafters of the garage. So I always looked at those things like these just like these super cool like 70s like brewer style guns that were just like just wicked looking. I was just like, what do you do with those gnarly things? Like what? Yeah. He would tell me stories about his like North Shore years and like little run-ins with like the cows and like all these cool little stories about big waves over there. And it was always just like super interesting to me, really interesting to me.
Before we talk about your dad, did your grandparents surf before they moved to Southern California?
I do not believe, but they were all into like, my grandpa was like, he like ski jumped. I have like photos of him just like soaring through the air, like doing like old school ski jumping. They were always into like cool activities and stuff. Later in his life, he actually got into windsurfing, and he was like a serious windsurfer.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So they were kind of early on to the what we call like more extreme sports. It's not extreme sports anymore, but that era of extreme sports.
Yeah.
That's cool. What did they think of the people? Because at that age in the 50s, 60s, surfers were looked down upon.
I don't think they like thought too much of that. I think they
Didn't give a shit,
like,
maybe?
Yeah, I think once my dad was getting into his like little rebellion years, they were probably like, "Oh gosh, this surf culture is quite wild." But really, they were just like, to them, it was just a bunch of fun people, kind of just like down at the beach, and they would make whole days out of it. They'd hang out, they'd surf all day, hang out on the beach, they'd talk, they'd party at night on the beach. And when they would see surfers back, you always hear the old timers telling you, like, when you saw a surfer, you'd be like, "Oh, hey, what's up, other surfer?" Like,
yeah, you were looking for them.
Yeah, like they were like, it was like it was like a little community, and it's something that was special,
Totally. What were your grandparents' names?
Rosemary and Bob LaRue. Yeah, and she would go by Ro and Bob.
Ro. That's cool. What about your father's name?
Pete LaRue.
Okay, so on your Instagram, going back way back, he shaped some of your boards. Was he a legit shaper? Tell us his background in shaping.
That's the interesting thing, because in the high school years, we were starting to go to the North Shore during the winter, like right after Christmas, we'd go to the North Shore, and we didn't have any guns because you can't find any like solid big wave boards in the South Bay. Everyone makes like just little potato chip short boards or long boards or like fun boards. So, I mean, he kind of took it upon himself to just start making our guns. So that was the true start of our, and we started like pretty grassroots. Like we didn't even like copy any templates. We like actually just took kind of just standard dimensions, and we used like not like a dowel, but like just a wooden ribbon, like piece of wood. And we like stretched it across, and we made our own gun templates. And we like just kind of made like some like pretty wicked looking 8.6s for like surfing out at sunset and stuff. So those were our first boards, were just some miniguns basically for going over to the North Shore.
So your dad wasn't like a shaper per se, where he had a shop and
No, but he was in construction, so
Okay.
he's really good with tools, really
He's a craftsman.
craftsman, really squared away, and like every single board that he's made turned out like square and like complete and like usable and good, you know. He has a high track record with like making a blank into something servable, you know.
That's so awesome.
I wanted him to get into production. I thought it'd be so cool to have like a family like a surfboard business, but he just did not want to be a board factory. It was just purely, he kept it hobby. He would shape for my friends. He would shape for us. But yeah, he just did not want to turn it into a job, you know?
Sometimes it takes the fun out of it. So you don't necessarily, he's probably smart.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have this family of surfers and you're a musician. When do you find out that you have some talent in your fingers playing the guitar?
When I first grabbed the guitar, first frustrated to tears because I didn't know anything, and the parents were like, oh, "Okay, we'll get you some lessons." And then I went to a dude, this guy Mike Rosati down in SoCal, legendary teacher. He's just like, "Oh, I got you." He dialed me in with picking, and he showed me like a few rock and roll songs, like just some classics. And I just took to it really fast because I was obsessed. I would just practice till my fingers were bleeding. And like, I would just like practice myself to like tears basically because I couldn't do something. And I just knew I was just obsessed with it. So quickly started like kind of turning heads like at Guitar Center when I would like be playing. They'd be like, "Oh,
Wow.
this little kid, like, what is he doing? He's playing some like actual like solid licks over there." Like, I took to it pretty quick. I also went into middle school, like the little like rinky-dink band that you sign up for in like sixth grade. And there was a dad in there that was like kind of helping his son, trying to get him to interface with the guitar because they didn't really want us to have guitars. He was in there. He was like trying to like make it okay for us to have guitars. And he actually helped us out, and he heard me playing, and he's like, "Oh, you should come and play in our band." And they had like a whole like band that was already formed and like a whole thing. So I got to drop into this awesome band, and he was like a professional musician, and he like played with like Pure Prairie League back in the day. This dude,
I love those guys.
yeah, this like he was like kind of like a hired gun, and he just like, and he had all the gear, all the background to be able to like, he was basically like our little like producer and like director of our little kid band. And so in sixth grade and through eighth grade, I was in that band, and we would like play like parties and get paid quite a bit of money. Like we were like actually professionally gigging in middle school, you know?
All covers?
Yeah, all covers. We would mess around writing songs and stuff, but yeah, we just did like flavor of the month covers and like classics, just a mix of everything. Anything from like Blink-182 to U2 to Led Zeppelin to like some Hendrix stuff, and we'd play like some Metallica things. We played everything.
Wow. Was that your preference for music to your ears, or did you have a preference?
I really liked more classic rock, kind of raw rock guitar. At first, I was like, I liked like the little like pop punk, like Green Day, Blink-182 stuff. But once I started exploring the guitar, I was like, oh, dude, these like Hendrix and like Jimmy Page, like those are the licks to kind of wrap my mind around and actually sound cool like I wanted to. And I was raised on the Rolling Stones. My dad's like Rolling Stones, like tried and true. So I also had that influence.
It seems like your parents were very supportive of your endeavors. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, anything that I wanted to do. Yeah, they would never just like splurge too much on getting me like the most fantastic equipment or anything, but they would always get me enough stuff to get into whatever I was interested in.
That's cool.
Yeah, like anything I was interested in, they definitely supported, no matter what the lifestyle looked like around it.
So you're listening to these older bands that are generations before you. What are your peers saying? Are they into it too?
We were kind of split in the band at the time. The dad that invited me in, he likes all that music and stuff, but his son was more into like the like more modern day stuff. They were trying to model their sound all off of like the really like kind of like almost emo sound, like the emo just like pop punk stuff, and I was just kind of straying from that. I kind of missed out on an opportunity with that band too, because that band kind of like morphed into something that was like mildly, like actually moderately successful. And they were like touring and opening for like these big bands like through high school years.
Wow.
So like I bailed because I'm like, I'm trying to be true to my roots and play some like some serious like rock and roll and like jazz. I'm playing jazz, you know, like, but then they went and like actually were making albums and actually touring with some like big bands. I was
Really?
well, yeah. They were doing the thing. Yeah.
Did you feel left out after? Did you feel? I mean, you kind of said that, but
yeah, I felt a little bit left out. But I also just thought, like, you know what? It just wasn't my path. It like wasn't.
Yeah,
you know, who knows how deep I could have gone in like onto the dark side if I started touring that early.
That is true. That is true. You want to say the name of the band or no?
The band that I was in, it was really funny. It was called No License because we didn't have any driver's license. But
I love it.
Their band was A Cursive Memory. They made some awesome songs. It was like really cool. But that was like back in like early 2000s. Yeah.
Well, let's go to your teen years. You're still playing music. What are you doing? Are you just like jamming at the campfire? Like,
so yeah, once I went to high school, I kind of got heavy surfing bug again. I was playing like in like jazz band in high school and stuff, just because that was just like a cool elective to take being a musician. I was less obsessed with that, and I was like really taking on my surfing because I had like a solid peer group that was like into surfing, and we had surf PE and surf team.
Nice.
That was really cool. We had like little like programs, you know, that were like just absolutely shredding with like sponsorships and stuff on our team. And I was never really like quite at that level. I always was aspiring to be like that, but I was always very competent, like in the water, and like would always seek the solid waves of the day, sit out back waiting for the big ones, even on small days.
As your teen years on the high school surf team, all this, are you riding the thruster?
Yeah, standard thruster.
Okay,
yeah,
you're not experimenting with longboards or fishes or anything like that.
No, that was pretty uncool to do. Actually,
it was super uncool. What year did you graduate? High school.
What was that? 2007, I believe, was my year.
Okay.
So like,
yeah.
Pro
surfing's pretty big. Thrusters are huge.
Yeah, exactly. And like the super hipster twin fin mid-length revolution was not in full swing quite yet. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Who are some of the guys you were seeing in the lineup? Were you seeing Alex Gray, or who are you seeing like surfing around here?
Yeah, Alex Gray was down there. That was like the main.
He was the main guy, I'm sure.
Yeah, he was the main like South Bay pro dude. But like Holly Beck would be down at like.
Oh yeah, Holly Beck. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and then there'd just be like just some classic ragtag, just like South Bay trolls, basically. It was just kind of a.
You're still checking burnouts.
Burnout, and then in the summer, my dad and I would venture down to like we'd surf upper trestles. That was like a go-to for us.
Kind of up north a little bit to Malibu.
We kind of avoided Malibu. We would go up to like Rincon on certain swells that weren't hitting in Palos Verdes very well. So we'd go to Rincon in the winter. Summertime, yeah, we kind of avoided Malibu like it was the plague up over there. I don't know.
I need to know. How big does Haggerty's get, and did you ever surf it?
Yeah, I would surf it. It gets pretty big, but it's kind of like but it's a very softer wave, and it's just like a specific swell that really needs to happen to make it like actually pump. But I mean, it's quite a distinct left feature, and it's a good wave. It's a rippable wave for sure.
Honest day, for sure it is.
Yeah, it's a cool wave.
Now you get out of high school. What's going on in your life? Are you choosing music, or what are you doing? Like, what are you thinking about your life now you're out of high school?
Oh, high school, man! I went up to Humboldt State University.
Okay, you went to college.
So I went to college, and I majored in music actually.
Killer.
So all my extra time was it was in building band. I had like just an amazing rock band, a rock trio that I put together up there. It was called the Children of the Sun. It was kind of like a pretty cool name. I don't know.
I like it.
Yeah. That was cool. And then that core of musicians would actually play as like backing bands for some artists coming through. And it morphed into like just all sorts of projects up there. So Humboldt life when I went to college was, it was doobies and music, basically.
Yeah. Okay. There are some really, really big waves there, and it happens quick.
Yeah.
Like nothing I've ever seen. I've seen the channel 25, 30 foot easy.
Oh, yeah. And
Coming
yeah,
out of Humboldt.
yeah, in Eureka, yeah, the harbor entrance. Yeah. I was kind of like straying from surfing, and then I had a friend come up there that was just like, he's like, Chase, dude, what are you doing, dude? We gotta go and like find all these places. So I would go on wild goose chases with him, my buddy Brian Woods. We would find like all the nooks and crannies and the main spots up there, and that's where I really was like, oh yeah, dude, my surfing, and like I like big waves, like I love the raw energy and like just being out there. I just like I didn't mind being on like a marathon paddle at the beach breaks there, just like drifting miles just for like one wave and paddling for 2 hours just to get annihilated back to the beach. I kind of loved it. It was kind of cool.
Wow. Okay. Did you learn anything new about the ocean up there? Because it's a completely different beast than it is at Redondo or...
Yeah, for sure. It was just like the actual raw material of these swells that would eventually make their way down to Redondo, you know? And the biggest thing was like, I mean, I was like just poof and spliffs all day. I was not in my tip top power lung phase of life. So my buddy would take me out and I would just get gassed out there. I would get so annihilated, but I would like still be fine. And I was never like completely scared away from it, even when I had like my gnarliest situations. So it was just always just like, well, I mean, I still like it. I'll go big. I'll just go out there. It looks big and gnarly, but like I'll just get swatted around and I can just kind of starfish back to the beach. I'll make it back to the beach. So what I learned up there was just like really interfacing with gnarly seas and using my endurance and my calm, actually just like knowing that I can make it back to the beach. Like that was the big deal.
Yeah, the confidence you're saying, I guess. Is what you're
confidence.
Saying.
Yeah. Confidence, yeah.
So with that surfing up there, do you have to find nooks and crannies to get shelter from some of the swell?
Yeah, there is like, I mean, there's literally, I mean, I don't want the Humboldt people to get mad at me for naming spots or anything, but you do literally, yeah, you have to kind of find the bends in the coast so you can escape the raw material. There were also just all these like random beaches that had like lagoons, and then there'd be magical moments when the lagoons would blast through, and like there'd be like an epic 2 or 3 days on the back end of like a certain rainy season at certain little spots. So there'd just be these little hot spots here and there that would go off for a few days. It was pretty cool.
I don't feel like Northern California or Oregon's going to blow out because it's just so cold and too raw for most humans.
Yeah.
So I don't ever think there'll be a surf camp up there taking you out.
Right,
so
dude.
I think you're safe, but
yeah.
I mean, I go up there and I'm just stunned at how much power there is.
Yeah, it's amazing. I truly love it up there. It just happened. It was just too raw for me. It was just a little, raw. Yeah, it was too raw. And you drive to one spot and then you have to drive another 45 minutes to another spot to check it. And it was just, the surf life was like more of like a search and like an adventure, which was cool, but like also like burning a lot of fossil fuels, you know?
There you go. All right. So then you get into, and maybe I'm missing something, you get into a touring band, something you were taking pretty serious.
Yeah, that was my tour life right there. That was basically what I was like working for. I wanted to get on some tour, and it didn't turn out to be like a super magical tour where we have like amazing tour buses and like personal trainers and like amazing like amazing hotel rooms and like VIP like experiences. It was pretty raw touring with this band called Synergy, which is still around. Just released they're always releasing music. My buddy Brian Zach, amazing singer, he was like the brains behind the project, and we got slurped up as the backing band for him for a festival. And he was like, oh, the festival went well. He was like, hey, I'm about to book a tour. You guys want to be the band, basically? Because they were going through members. My core band that I was playing with just basically got slurped up by Synergy and became Synergy. And we were touring for like I'd say almost like 2 years with that project. That was fun. Tour life. It was real tour life. It was really cool.
Did it become a job, or what did you feel about it?
The main thing was, I mean, I was feeling that I was just straying from my health, really, you know?
Yeah,
and my surfing. I absolutely loved it. I would hop in the van again at the drop of a dime, like right away. But I started actually like wanting to get hardcore back into my surfing. My dad had gone down to like Todos Santos with my buddy Brian, who was like the dude that kind of got me back into surfing up in Humboldt. And they were like getting inspired and shaping guns. Like I was like, what are you doing? You're like, oh, my dad's inspired to like make another batch of boards. I'm like, oh, dang, well, I kind of want to dig back into this. And it just so happened, the way I got out of the band was our merch guy knew a dude in Santa Cruz that would put us up when we would come through town to play gigs. And the dude worked for the surf school that I work for now. And he invited me to volunteer to just go get in the water and help him out with a surf lesson. And I was like, oh, dude. And I was like, oh, I've always wanted to live in Santa Cruz. And I kind of saw like a path into living in Santa Cruz through this dude. He's an absolute legend. And he had like ties with like all like, with like Tazzy and like Austin Smith Ford and like Kyle Boothman here. He's like friends with all of them. So it was just like this perfect little like networking opportunity, and just like a super rad supportive dude that like kind of saw potential in me surfing Mavs, because I told him I wanted to surf Mavs. And he's like, you would be a good surf instructor. And I just kind of jumped out of the reggae bus and just started teaching surf lessons, lived in his garage, basically slowly just became one of the main instructors for Adventure Out, which is the company I work for.
Okay, cool. What were your feelings on that? It sounds like you were pretty positive.
Super positive. Yeah, and I had like, there weren't even any like hard feelings with any bandmates, really. They totally understood. I knew like I'll find my way in music whenever it's right. Things always just kind of happen when they need to happen. I really saw like a magical opportunity to like actually like dive deep into my surf life and have an opportunity to live more centralized and close to Mavs and the Santa Cruz waves. But that came with its whole new set of challenges, trying to infiltrate the scene here in Santa Cruz. That was the next journey.
Okay, before we talk to you about Santa Cruz, was there infiltrating, was there any harassment or anything in Humboldt, or would you just kind of accept it? Like, or are university students kind of frowned upon? Going back to Humboldt real quick.
Yeah. Well, up there, I think, university students are slightly frowned upon, but I don't know. My friend and I just kind of had a little more rootsy vibe to us, so we didn't really get rousted. There were like just a few dudes that were like just like an angry bear, and it just didn't even matter. And like no matter if they knew you or not, they're just going to be a grumpy, just like absurd. So you just like avoided those few people, and you're basically surfing on your own most of the time. Like I was solo sessions. Yeah, we were by ourselves. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now you get into Santa Cruz. You moved there. You're in the surf camp. How is getting into the scene there?
Man, I had to mind my P's and Q's and tiptoe around a lot of folks for a while before I was like, I was like basically centralizing on the west side, and I would surf at the lane. I would have to pick my very narrow moments where I could even go like think about sitting at the slot without someone just feeling kind of like threatened by me or something. I don't know what it was. Well, I know exactly what it was. They just didn't recognize me, you know?
Which is fair.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
So, no, totally fair. And so I figured out how to kind of navigate around like the key players. I would surf middle peak and indicator how I could. I would go on off windows and be able to like sneak over to the slot. I started really making friends with like a few key players like out charging at Mavs, you know? Okay. So the big neutralizing force for at least being able to like exist at the slot was kind of the work I was doing out at Mavs. Once you start having mutual respect with someone in the water at one break that's like 20 feet and it's just like terrifying, and you have these like awesome days with these people, like it starts to get pretty hard to like go regulate on him at the other spot when especially when they're realizing like, oh, I am minding my P's and Q's. I'm not backpedaling people. I'm respecting like the key players, and I'm like being a positive individual out there, you know? The rousing can only last so long until it just like hurts them more than me, you know? So
that makes sense. We kind of skipped the part of you going to Mavs, maybe the first time or first few times.
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
in 2014 was my first season out there. And I had actually, my dad surfed out there like the year before, and I just watched from the cliff. I wasn't ready for it. I went up there with my dad on the boards that he just freshly shaped for us. And he was just kind of like my guide out there. I mean, he didn't know the break really well, but he was just always kind of like, he would always guide me out to bigger waves, and he would just let me do my thing. You know, I would like flounder or whatever. He'd kind of watch over me when I was like really young and just let me figure it out. And that's kind of just what we did going out there the first time. And it was just like a mediocre swell. It was actually really funny because we were standing on the cliff just staring at it. And then I noticed this lady and her dude that she was with, and she had like Red Bull stuff on. And I was like, that's weird. She seems like so like sponsored up and like pro for how like hesitant she is. And I'm like, who's this person? And it was actually Justine DuPont.
Oh,
and
wow.
it was her first time going out.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah. So her and her dude, Fred, they're like really friendly on the cliff, and we're all like just like hemming and hawing and just kind of like scratching our heads. Like, should we go out? Like, we don't even know. Like, there's not even anyone out there yet. Like, what do we do? And so we all actually paddled out together for our first time. Then,
Wow.
of course, like after that session, I look at like Justine DuPont's stuff and, of course, her trajectory over the next like 10 years. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, she was like on her stuff. And like, it was funny to see someone like that has that kind of experience, like just standing there at Mavs, just kind of like, oh gosh, this is kind of a gnarly situation. My first session went well. I didn't really know what type of wave to look for. So I finally just saw just a death wall coming at me. And I'm just like, oh, okay. I guess I just turn around and paddle for this. And I sent it. I kind of like aided on it and just got kind of worked. But I felt good because I had been like basically overtraining breath hold. So I was like totally fine holding my breath. It was just kind of like, it was pretty chill. I didn't have a pull vest. I had like a little, like a wakeboard vest as flotation. And it felt good. I wasn't scared enough to not go back. I got like a little chipper wave like off the shoulder, and I was like, it was a successful mission, and I got back safe. So I'm like, okay, we're on.
Were you hooked?
I was pretty hooked, and I was pretty just fixated on just getting a real wave. You know, it took me about like 2 years to even get like any sort of like reasonable like clip or like photo of me out there. And I remember like there was this one, I think it might have been like maybe 2016 or 2017, when I got a few sick ones, and then I ended up in like this cool like Red Bull edit, and I was like, whoa,
Wow.
dude! I'm like in the edit, and it says like Chase LaRue, and I'm like, I'm in the surf movie, you know?
Yeah.
And that was like a big deal for me. I was like,
That's
oh,
huge.
dude.
That's huge
Yeah.
for anybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, wow, I'm doing it. And like, I was starting to like get to know people out there on skis. Cause at first I was like, dude, if I'm in trouble, do these people just look at me like I'm just some like useless troll and they're just going to like let me just wash through the rocks? But like people are looking out for each other out there. But I basically operated on my own. I'd paddle out solo. I wouldn't even like rally with any of my friends for my sessions. I mean, sometimes I'd like get a call from someone, but I would go on my own, and I would just assume that I was taking care of myself out there. I would surf in a way that I was not depending on jet ski rescue. If I screwed up, I would get rinsed out in a safe spot, not through the rocks or something. So I was very like slow at like working my way up into the bowl and actually getting into positions and for like critical waves. Yeah.
We all picture it, but in real life, and actually being on the peak or the bowl, I'm sure it's a whole realm that most people can't comprehend.
It's really gnarly. It's like 10 times gnarlier in real life too than you see in the photos. It's like ridiculous.
Sure.
Yeah.
Are you staying in Santa Cruz? You're working. Is it like every swell you hear about, you're heading up there? And it's it's a little drive. It's not far, but it's kind of far.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, like, especially on the winters where I was like surf lessons were slow and I didn't have much change. I was trying to pick my sessions wisely. I would kind of avoid the huge circus days that were like for the first like 3 to 5 years, I was avoiding the like complete mayhem giant days, you know? So I would choose off days, slightly off tides, and I was just like, you know, dipping my feet in and just like working my way up.
There's plenty of ways in Santa Cruz to surf also when there's not much swell.
Totally. Yeah. And that's what I used all those waves for, was just like training. Yeah.
How big does Middle Peak get at Steamers?
It gets pretty tall, but the drop never quite feels like the full raw Mavs drop.
No, they don't look the same.
No, they don't look the same at all, but like it's good practice because you can start to practice putting yourself into more critical parts of the wave, and you don't get absolutely drilled. You just get kind of smeared around and spat out instead of like annihilated. So yeah. So you can kind of like push your comfort zone with where you're placing yourself. And sometimes there would be some double ups out there that would actually square out and be like really gnarly on like the super duper big swells, like the oversized swells. Yeah, I love Middle Peak. I love dancing around out there. It's a good one.
Okay. Have you ever gotten in trouble out there?
I've never felt like I was in trouble, but one time I took off like basically on a wave that was as far out as you could ever go to catch a wave. It was probably like third reef or something, and my freaking leash just like swiped off my ankle. And I had some flotation. I was fine, but the main worry was like, where is my board drifting? Where is it going to be? But then I was just kind of like floating there, and I'm like, well, I'll get to land eventually. So I just meandered and meandered. I swam so long, and then somehow like magically rendezvoused with my board, and the leash wasn't even broken. It was just the safety pin that came out. So I just like put it all back together, and I just paddled back into the lineup. So that was like the scariest thing out there that's happened. But I wasn't scared really. It was just, yeah.
Okay. I mean, where would you come in at if you had to swim in? Would you try to come in?
If I was like broken, like arm screwed up, and I was just floating there and I'm one arm swimming in, I would come in at Cowles or just past the wharf probably on a giant day.
Just kind of hug like the cliff or something?
Yeah, just like let it just wash you down and just come up on anywhere on the beach between Cowles and the river mouth, really. That's what I would do. Yeah.
It gets pretty big there too, though, right?
Yeah, it gets big, but at least it'll just wash you onto
just beach
onto land. Yeah, you just get like at least get to land, you know?
Okay. All right. Fair enough. That's questions I never thought about asking. Now you're a big wave guy or aspiring to be a Mavericks big wave guy. Are you still playing music at this time? What's good? What else is going on in your life as you're surfing 2000?
So I wasn't gigging, and I was continuously like playing on the side, but I wasn't doing anything professionally with my music. I was basically just like hanging out. I would hang out all day and train on downtime, and then surf as much as like humanly possible. So it's just surfing, just really surfing. Like, yeah.
So music was out, kind of.
Music was kind of out, yeah. I was like missing that. I was like, oh, there's a serious imbalance with my music life, but I was just so all in on the surfing and obsession with trying to train up for big waves that, yeah.
Where did you think big wave was there a path it was gonna take you in, or was it just a passion that you loved and you couldn't let it go?
Oh, well, you know, yeah, now that you asked that, in 2013, 2014, the Big Wave World Tour was like still a thing.
It was.
And it was like epic. Like, so I wanted to at least start to kind of thread into that life. Like
all right.
That was kind of like that would be like top goal was to like, I was literally trying to like work into like the Big Wave Tour.
Okay.
That was what I was looking at, but I just really wanted to just be an accomplished waterman and specifically like specialized at Mavericks because I grew up with just the lore of Mavericks, you know?
Yeah. Let's ask a question about your family. What are they thinking about your life at this point? Now you're in your mid-20s, kind of, I'm guessing, right? You're in the mid-20s.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think big wave surfer.
Family was stoked. Of course, the little transition time between actually fully moving into Santa Cruz and transitioning out of the band, it was kind of a little squirrely from the outside. So they're like, what are you doing? Well, you should like do like something and do what I did actually take up. I got a substitute, like a 30-day sub credential so I could be a substitute teacher in schools.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that kind of appeased my dad for a little bit. He's like, oh, at least he's got something figured out and like he'll scrape along.
Yeah, that's my question.
Yeah.
Okay. You know
yeah,
what
and
I'm
they,
asking.
yeah, and they weren't thinking like, oh my gosh, our boy is not setting up a retirement plan for himself, and they were totally chill with me on my journey as long as I was just like being a respectable human being and taking care of myself.
Were you taking care of yourself better than you were when you went to university?
Definitely, because I easily naturally phased out of like drinking pretty well.
Okay.
I wasn't like really like partying. I would go out like occasionally and stuff. So I wasn't like on like just like the party schedule, just like boozing and then recovering from that. And I was definitely still spliffing a lot. So a huge part of the surfing and big waves was kind of a journey to stop smoking, really. I'd have to say that was like a big deal. Nothing worse than being stuck underwater, just like feeling like, coughing. Yeah. That was like a big part of the thing. So I was phasing out smoking weed and stuff. And I was just pulling it together. I was like really pulling it together, honing in.
It sounds like you were just starting to grow up.
Yeah. Frontal lobe was definitely taking hold.
What music do you listen to at this point, even though you're not professionally approaching?
I completely digressed in my musical taste through my whole life. Through college years, I was like listening to like this like really like nose in the air like classical music, like jazz. Yeah, exactly. Like all the jazzers, everything, just getting like music theory and like singing choir pieces and all this stuff. And then Then I hit the road with the reggae band, and then I started listening to like literally just like top 40 like just junk, and I would just listen to anything, and then I would just basically press shuffle on like Apple Music and just listen to whatever came to my ears, just anything like trancey stuff that I would just space out on and like do my breath work to, and like I was not particular at all through those years, like with my listening, and just press play and like not even press next on a crappy song. I would just listen to anything, really.
Were you going into San Francisco to see big bands? Was there anybody like on a weekend with your friends?
I wasn't seeing live music really.
Okay.
Like
you skipped that too.
Yeah, because like, and it's weird when you're a touring musician and you've just been playing gigs all your life. Like I would just go to venues and I would get taken care of. I would get drinks. I would like go backstage. And so it always just felt weird to go like pay to go see music and stuff. I would just kind of see whoever was on the same bills as me, like at the festivals that I was playing and stuff, you know? Did
you feel like you were missing being on stage at this point in your life?
I was distracted enough, but I definitely knew that was something that's still on the back burner that I wanted to bring forward and like pursue. Like I still am pursuing that, you know.
You are. You become an accepted surfer in Mavericks. Can I say that?
Yeah, I'd say the years that I really became accepted were the 2020, 2021 season, where we had just the glorious year of just like swell after swell after swell. I basically got 10 years of surfing experience out there in 1 year, in one season. Just I got to see all the different faces of Mavs that season. And that's when I really like started getting real waves. Fred Pompermeyer got this shot of me. It's actually he got like a 2-page spread for me in Tracks magazine in Australia.
Oh wow.
And that was when I was like, "Oh, I'm a surfer now." Like,
international surf star.
I'm in the magazine, you know? So
100%. That's a dream come true.
Truly a dream come true.
Yeah.
So that was the year where I got to know everyone got to know me, and I got to know everyone that were like key players, and they're like, okay, well, he's been out here and he hasn't made us do any stupid rescues, and I've never caused any real problems out there. It's like no reason to have a problem with me. I'm one of the good ones. Yeah. I'm nice.
2020, 2021, when you learned a lot more about Mavericks in such a short period of time. Where are you at in life besides just surfing Mavericks?
That was when I believe I was living at a co-op with like 6 other people. I think that year was a little bit in the tail end of that season was when I actually first met my now fiance. I found the girl. It was glorious.
Cool.
And we started playing music together in like a little like outlaw country band in my garage at the co-op. And we weren't even thinking about dating or anything. In fact, it was like a band rule to not date inside the band. I'm like, yeah, okay, fine dudes, I won't date you. But this beautiful lead singer that we have, I don't know, maybe sometime down the road we might have a little thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So we played music together for like a year. So that was like kind of really fun project. We didn't take it like too seriously, and we started playing some gigs around town and started sounding pretty good. And so that was me kind of getting back into playing in like kind of a band vibe, and maybe just like hinting at playing at venues and stuff, you know? Mm-hmm. And it also led into, you know, a relationship. Now I'm getting married to that girl, Sarah. Came around to actually working out and being an amazing relationship. And that is what was starting to happen 2021 leading into now.
So it's a lot going on just a few years ago.
Yeah, a lot going on. Yeah. I could feel the big shift in the life where I was like, oh, I found like a sweet girl, and I'm starting to like pull my shit together, and I'm starting to feel more solid and confident out at Mavs to where I don't have to like overly obsess about it. I can actually have like a system to it and actually start to integrate other things into my life instead of just over obsessing about it, you know?
Okay. Let's talk about today. Today, you're playing music, kind of solo, and with your soon-to-be wife.
Yes. We'll gig around town a little bit occasionally. And yeah, I've been working on recording music. I've been recording basically demo quality stuff of all my songs. I've got tons of songs that I want to give like the full solid like recording treatment to, and actually I want to produce them up to like a good level, but it just, you know, it's hard to find like backing from anyone to like do that stuff. So it's really like has to be like self-funded. And I've got chops like recording and stuff, but I don't really have like a good studio space. It would be nice to work in a studio, get an engineer to help me out, and actually like mix and master some things proper and like really put it into the songs. Because I think I got some good ones that could be some people's potential favorite song, and I want to make a recording that can represent it like that, you know?
So you're recording like the one you can find on Spotify, the album?
Yeah.
What's the name of the album?
That is like In the Light. It's like an EP on Spotify, and it's you know,
I'll post that on the show notes. Okay.
Yeah, and that was home recorded. It's funny because now I play those songs live, and I look back on those recordings, and they're like probably like 20 beats per minute slower than I play them now, and they're so laid back. Like like I still play really laid back music, but like they are really laid back. Like if I re-recorded them, they'd be like kind of like spruced up a little bit. That's why I want to kind of regenerate some of those songs, and like I have a bunch of new material that I want to get out on Spotify, because when I talk to people like you and people ask me where my music is, I'm like, well, I got tons of songs that I play live now, but they're only at like demo quality on my SoundCloud right now, and I've only got like that one album on Spotify.
But it's good. I like it. I enjoy
cool.
it.
Yeah. I'm glad you enjoy it. Yeah, it's chill. It's chill guy music.
It is.
You know?
Who do you feel inspired you to write these songs? Like, do you have a genre?
That's the weird thing is like all my songs are like, I call them like flexi form. Like they can be.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, if I had a band that was like playing a bunch of country music, I could almost pitch them 90% of my songs, and we'd be able to make a country. We could go reggae. I could like make them a little bit more like down home, like Delta blues style. Like I could like make them raw, like some classic rock stuff. Like they are so re-renderable, and that's the tough part about the recording process and pitching songs for recording and finding the right artist to record these songs with me, because I can't do all the tracks. I'm a multi-instrumentalist, but like you want to have some other hands on projects. So yeah, they're flexi songs. They can go any way.
I would agree with you. I totally agree with you. So you opened up for McNamara. How'd that happen?
Dude, that was just such a cosmic lineup of connections. Some connections I had through Mavs photographers, Tom Hoppa in particular, who does the booking for like Bottle Rock Festival, and he books like big bands. He's like just such a rad dude, and him and I just kind of hit it off, and he just liked my vibe, so he's just been super supportive through the years, like throwing me a gig here and there, and just being an awesome, positive guy. Whenever I see him out in the lineup when he's photographing, he's just like super friendly. He'll even like send me my photos, and like they were all kind of like tied up in like the Mavs Awards scene and everything. And like him and Ewan were just like a really fun network of people that were like just being supportive. So he just had a guy ask him that was like trying to book a tour for Landon. He just kind of had someone ask him, hey, you got any artists that would fit kind of like the McNamara like surfy vibe? And he's like, oh yeah, dude, I've got this this charger here that happens to play some cool, chill, laid back cool guy music. Yeah, just talk to him. So it was just basically a cosmic link through awesome friend Tom Hoppa, who's just like a booking and manager guy.
How good was it to have an audience like that? Like,
dude, that
sit on
is
stage again, kind of thing. And
dude,
even though I know you're playing the wine cellar and some of these other places.
Yeah, no, but those were like real audiences, solid venues, real show vibes. Like when you show up to a venue and you see people already like kind of waiting around for like Landon's groupie people, like these like you know, like you were really picking up some like show, like going to a like big show vibes, and to be the opener on something like that was like, it was just like, I just felt so blessed and honored to be trusted with that. And there was no questions asked on what I was going to do. Not much like recorded evidence of what I was going to present, you know, besides my Spotify album. Like they just trusted what I was going to do. And they're like, wow, that's cool. I was kind of nervous. So I practiced up. And I was just feeling confident for playing in front of big audiences. And no one was mad at me. So, and everyone seemed to enjoy the music. So I really, really loved playing for Landon's audience. It was cool.
How hard is it to be an opening act?
As a solo guitarist, yes.
Add that to the question. That was part of my next question, is sitting on stage by yourself.
Yeah, so going up on stage by myself and trying to match the energy of a full-blown, like, 6-piece reggae band, it's daunting when you think about it. But then I was just kind of thinking like, well, this is like a full experience for these people. Actually, if I were to have like a full band behind me opening for him, I would actually take away from the impact of his band. I just thought of myself as just an accompaniment to the night and as just like another flavor that was happening. And it just so happens people that love like high vibes, like reggae music, like they don't mind like chill dude on the stage. Just
they're more open-minded than maybe some other.
Yeah, really open-minded. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So once I got on stage, I didn't feel any pressure whatsoever. And I was just like, oh, this just kind of fit. I think it was a perfect accompaniment to his energy and his band.
That's right. So we talked about your thoughts on recording in the near future. How about playing gigs around town? And your wife too. I know sometimes she joins you.
Yeah. So we
we'll soon to be wife. Sorry.
Yeah, soon to be wife. Yeah, she's got like, you know, just classically like just beautiful female vocals, so she can sing like all these really cool, awesome covers and stuff. So we can do basically anything with her, and it's fun. We'll split the time. I'll do like some of my solo music, some of my originals. We'll do a set with like all of her covers that she plays, and we'll sing songs together. So we'll do that. That'll be fun, but we just do that in a passive, fun way. But I'm really, really trying to like hold out and like just build my recorded material and push for like another good, solid opening gig.
Okay.
For bigger audiences. Like I'm basically just kind of like trying to hold tight for like another solid opportunity on real stages, because I got kind of spoiled, really. You know, It's hard to just grind the winery gigs when you've like gotten a taste of like a venue that asks you like if you want coconut water backstage, you know?
Yeah, I see that. I'm going to go on the other side of that. At these wineries and stuff, are they actually going to see you, or are these people just kind of there and you're there? Does that make sense? And it's no disrespect.
No, I know, exactly. We'll have all my people come out when I flag a gig on like Instagram, and I'll get people coming out to see me. But it's really cool. Around here in Santa Cruz, it's not like a huge like fan base that's coming out. They're like my friends and my people that just kind of want to just come support me, and they just like being around the vibe, you know? So it's just like fun, supportive people. But I do love fresh ears at the, like when they just don't even know who they're coming to see, and they're just like, we heard there was live music, so we came and we saw you and we love it. Yay. I like that cool. kind of experience. That's really, I love that. That's really fun. Yeah.
I love doing it. I love stumbling across a great musician on accident.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, so cool. Anything coming up big in the near future?
Nothing big. I'm just trying to like put the pieces together to make like my next album and actually have some more stuff for people to tangibly listen to on Spotify.
I'm sure you're going to make that happen real soon.
I will. Yeah.
You got a lot of followers on Instagram.
One year I was down in Mexico and I got this like crazy video of a wild earthquake that blew my account up. Like it went insane. Like I've never seen anything like when you actually go full blown like viral and the thing blows up. It's the most insane thing in the world. Like you have to turn off all notifications. Like you refresh the little thing on like Instagram and it's just like a whoa, like all this stuff coming in. So that's happened. So I attribute a huge amount of my followers to just that viral moment. But I also have through the years, through my moments at Mavs and stuff, I've accumulated like a good core little like surf followership that I really appreciate the support from them too.
Those are the ones you care about.
Those are the ones I truly care about. Yeah. And I just have my like core, like 700 followers that I really built up before anyone ever blew up my account. I have my people, my loved ones.
Okay, on your Instagram, and I'm not sure, but you're labeling Kook Slams. So what is your tie with Kook Slams?
Oh, yeah. I'm just a Kook Slams ambassador. Like a couple of years ago, they were throwing out a little ambassador deal for people that were interested. And I just sent them an email. I was like, do you know what? I teach a bunch of like beginner surfers, and I'm basically like the creator of like endless Kook Slams like every single day. Like I am a facilitator of Kook Slams, and I am potentially a giant like Kook Slam, like one wipeout away from being like a glorious Kook Slam, you know, like on a big day at Mavs.
There you go.
I thought that was just so hilarious to get like a little ambassador thing going with them, just for the record, just so you know, I represent Kook Slams.
There you go. All right. On your Instagram, you have, hey, tell me this. Is this a river wave you surfed, or is it one of those tidal bores, or there's three guys on a wave? What is that?
Oh, yeah. I was filming that. I was actually filming that.
Oh, you weren't surfing that. Okay.
No. That was on one of those just wild, I think that was on that giant bomb cyclone that took out Westcliff like a couple of years ago.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I was cruising around. I was just getting all this wild footage of the storm. And then I got down to the river mouth and some kids were like messing around in there. It was like actually working. I was like, it was impressive. Solid wave going up the river.
Solid. Yeah. Were you bummed that you didn't have your equipment to jump in there?
Yeah, but also I was just like kind of looking at the water quality and like just imagining.
Brown. Yeah, it was
on a microscopic level, I don't think things were very inviting there.
Yeah, just don't swallow it. You'd be fine.
I know. I know.
I did look something up, and I don't know if this is you, and maybe this has to do with the Big Wave Tour, but you do have a WSL, or is it a different? LaRue, a Chase LaRue.
I have searched my name on the internet before, and I've seen that come up.
Yeah.
And do you know what it was? I was going to register for the Cold Water Classic trials one year. I ended up not doing that, but I did like actually open like an account with like WSL or something. So there's no rankings or anything.
There's nothing. But, it just says your name.
And I know, it's really bizarre. Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, well, there you go. At least it shows up.
Hey.
They did their job.
I know, right?
Kind of did their job.
Kind of, yeah.
I mean, maybe they shouldn't put it there. So we've talked about the past history of your dad shaping boards. And I know a couple years ago you were really stoked on Tim Pony. Got a couple guns, or you had a gun that you were really...
So, my main shaper, I would say, is my dad. He just so happens to not be a production-paced shaper, you know? So... And he makes some amazing guns, you know, like really good boards. And I would actually trust him to basically shape a board for me for any wave in the world, really, which I still do. I still am mostly surfing my dad's boards. Mm-hmm. Surprisingly, my main Mavs guns that I've been surfing the past 10 years are still in one piece, and they're still my go-to daily drivers, if you could have one out there. Yeah, my 9.6s, but I had a few experiences on some days that were so giant that I really wanted to outsource. The Timponi board was a crucial piece for me to feel confident on the days where I was going to be paddling in on like the outer reefs at Mavs. And I really wanted something from him because he's just a good old pal. of mine, and I've just gotten to know Jeff and Nick, his son, like really well through the years. And I wouldn't have any random shaper shape me a board outside of my dad. You know, it has to have some like heart and soul to it. And I really am a believer in the vibes of a board when it's built. So I gave him full reign to just make me a 10-6, just like day of days, just death ship basically. And that is what I've gotten basically some of my biggest waves on, my most confident drops. It's basically as magic of a board it could be, you know. Love it.
First wave, you know.
Yeah. And I've always been nervous with 10-6s out at with Mavs. Like and geometrically, a lot of people say that doesn't really fit the mold out at, or fit the wave out at Mavs. When you're rolling in and you're right outside the bowl, as long as you get in early, which is why I have all that volume in, it's like 4 inches thick. If you get in early and you're going down the face, then it's going to do the trick, and it fits, and it settles down. Like I had a few airdrops this year on it that I flicked off the face, and the second I landed, it re-engaged, and it was like nothing happened, and it just handles. So I don't think about it too much. It just works, and that's been my go-to board.
So I just thought of a question I never thought about until right now. Sometimes when you're surfing just a 4-foot day, 3-foot day, sometimes you put your foot in the wrong spot, and it's just a half an inch off to make the board not work to work. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the back foot.
For sure.
You have such a big board. And you're dropping in so fast, and the waves, so much power behind it. How do you make that correction?
Yeah.
Such on a 10-6.
Yeah. So I just try to have as much leverage across the whole board as possible through any part of my stance when I'm big wave surfing, because you just never know what kind of flicker is going to happen. I don't know if you've ever like flown your hand outside of the window when you're,
everyone has,
and then they have those boards that you can actually like air surf. There's like these little toy boards where you can air surf on the wind when you're driving. And I try to think of it like that. I try to imagine that at some point I'm going to have to soar on my board, and I don't want it to flick off my feet. So my stance is based on that, incorporating the wind direction, the gust up the face, and whatever kind of trajectory I'm on. I'm just thinking I have all my talons kind of reaching far and wide on the board to keep it under my feet, and just in case we go airborne. Okay. You know?
But too far forward, too far backwards, you're in trouble.
Yeah. And what I've found is like, no matter how steep the drop is, you just want to be just forward. You want to be over axis.
Really?
Yeah, just over axis committed, because the second you start to go back on the tail, it starts to set the trajectory weird, and you end up getting pitched in weird different ways. So I've always just thought like, when I pop up, I try to keep my hands down. I try to imagine the actual oververt. Instead of just even like a vertical drop, I try to imagine that I'm like trying to fit inside of like a full pipe, you know? And then the upper body, I tell this with my beginner surf students that you want your upper body and your eyes and your whole sense of where you're going to be like a predatory, like a bird in flight that's like trying to like track prey. So just locked into your trajectory.
Gotcha.
Upper body's just committed down the face, and then whatever happens with the board, as long as you're malleable enough with your legs and cushioning the landing, it all works out with the airdrop. Okay. So, yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. It's kind of gnarly.
I'll never know.
Yeah.
All right. Your dad, you got Tim Pony for your go-to the boards, kind of sounds like.
Yes.
And then there's a couple funny videos of you and the local Davenport shaper, Neff.
Senior Neff, dude. He is a true legendary being on this earth. People like him need to be preserved and cherished. As abrasive as they can be in moments, I mean, it's really special knowing someone that truly, fully expresses themselves all the time. It's a treat to hang out with Neff, and the spirit he puts behind all his work is just absolutely magical.
He loves his work. That is for sure.
Dude, it's legendary.
When he gets someone to shape a board for, he truly loves that person and the board. I feel it. Part of him. It's his soul.
Yep. And that's the kind of spirit and soul I like to see getting put into a board that I'm going to surf like gnarly waves on, you know?
Are you going to try one of his boards out there?
Well, what I have him shaping right now is actually one for Pascuales, big beach break down in Mexico.
Okay.
It's kind of a step up board, and so we're starting with a step up, and we'll see how it goes. I love the look of his guns, but I have enough guns right now.
Yeah,
I'd let it. He'd be a fun one to experiment with, to actually just like, because my dad just kind of does things how he wants to do them. He'll take my like input, but he just it comes out how he does it.
At the end of the day, it's your dad's work.
Yeah, it's my dad's work. But I feel like Neff, he would just go on a wild tangent with a surfer.
Realms explore new realms.
Yeah, so he would be a good experimental shaper to work with, to like find my like next level, like on the bowl, like crazy gun, you know?
There you go.
Yeah.
You told me this before, and I didn't know, but you said you kind of experimented with podcasts yourself way back in the day, the early days of podcasting.
Oh yeah, I like to say that I was like an very early adopter and pioneer of like, I definitely had like people that I was looking up to that were podcasting, but it was all in the tech realm, and like half of the podcasts were actually about podcasting back in the day. Yeah. It was just like this weird like little like echo chamber of podcasting. And I even went to the first portable media and podcast expo in Ontario. Okay. Yeah. And I was like, I was there at the roots of, I like to say that I did start podcasting before Joe Rogan started podcasting.
Oh, for sure. I'm sure you did. Yeah.
So
unfortunately, you don't have the Joe Rogan money, and neither do I.
I know.
That's some serious dough.
I know. That's some serious power there. It was a fun project because I actually liked recording music and playing music, and then that was just another fun thing to do with my recording equipment.
Yeah,
you know, and it was cool. I would have like the online guests kind of wired in, like you're doing here. Yeah. It wasn't there weren't as many tools to make it easy. You know,
even the last 5 years I've been doing this, it's gotten a lot easier than it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, and I took it as a fun way to learn web development, like building websites and all that stuff. So I really geeked out on that stuff. Like, yeah, it was really fun.
So hopefully one day you could start another podcast. I would love to hear.
I know. I would love to.
You can do all kinds of, like, you can do your music realm. You can go surfing. You got so much shit to talk about.
I know, I do. I truly, I have been thinking of that as like a fun way to like kind of put all my pieces together.
There you go.
Yeah.
Marry them all together.
Yeah.
Which I would like to congratulate you. We're talking before you're married. When this comes out, I'm going to let you know it'll be after you're married. So congratulations.
Yes. Awesome. Oh yeah, dude. Married man, dude. I'm a big boy now. I'm gonna have some bling on my finger too.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Are you gonna wear that bling in the lineup, or are you gonna take it off? So
I wish I could, but like it seems like too nice to like risk. So
yeah, 100%. Take it off.
Yeah, I think I should just take it off. I think so. I love just like setting it and forgetting it with like a bracelet or stuff like that. But yeah, it's too valuable to and cherished to like just let fall into the Davy Jones locker. Yeah.
Yeah, if it falls down in the ocean, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
There's no finding it.
Yeah,
especially in Santa Cruz or Mavs or anywhere in Mexico, wherever you're going.
Yeah, dude. I'll get some false rubber rings, like, or whatever. Like, yeah.
All of us here at the QuiverCast say congratulations. So stoked.
It's been kind of awesome getting guided through my life by your questions. Actually, it's kind of cool. It's kind of therapeutic in a sense.
There you go. I really appreciate you, Chase, for coming on, dude. Thank you so much.
For sure. Yeah.
Let us know when any new music comes out, when you decide what route you want to go, country or country's the hot shit right now.
I know it is. I
don't like it personally.
I know. I'm not too honky myself either. Okay. So like,
there you go. Naturally, where did you feel like your music should go?
You know, it's got kind of like a laid back backbeat, like chill, like almost soul chords and vibes, like a chill backbeat and just like chill guy music. I'd probably end up on Jack Johnson's like radio station or whatever.
So I feel very Jack Johnson-ish.
Yeah.
Along those lines.
Yeah.
Well, all right, everybody. This is Mike and Chase LaRue. How do you say it in French again?
LaRue.
All right. And we are out of here. All right. Thanks, Chase.
Yeah.
my steez in, looking down on my truck, 'cause the work that it's needing. Well, they go real hard, but I go a bit smoother. Yeah, they see it on TV, it makes them feel smarter. But I keep living on, and I keep ticking on. But I might need checking on soon. I'm rolling on dust, I guess it's the season. I'm leaving the rust, 'cause that's how I'm feeling. I ride the same old wheels, 'cause I can't make my own. I might not get there fast, but I get where I'm going. I keep living on, I keep ticking on, but I might need checking on soon. I'm looking for trust, 'cause that's what I'm needing. I'm giving out love, 'cause that's what I'm dealing. I like the same old thrills, 'cause that's what I know. And when the big one comes, well, you know that I'm going. I keep living on, I keep ticking on, but I might need checking on soon. I keep living on, and I keep ticking on, but I might need checking on soon. I keep living on, I keep ticking on, but I might need checking on soon.
It's Cybersecurity Awareness